Hello, my name is Shane Brodie. I'm traveling around the country, meeting with trans people, non-binary people, gender non-conforming people, talking about their beliefs, identity, what's going on in their local communities, in their states. And today I'm in a rural part of New Hampshire, and it's really beautiful out here. As I was driving along the highway, there were signs for fishing game and firing ranges and orchards, and yeah, it felt really good. Actually, this reminds me of Alaska a little bit, which is where I was just most recently living. And we're in the waning light of the day at the moment. It's late afternoon. We're getting to that time of year where it's getting darker and darker, and it's really beautiful out here. There's a large piece of land and sweet little house set on it. So I'm here with a guest, and I'm gonna give the mic over to her, and she's gonna introduce herself in whatever way she feels comfortable with, and we'll just get into a conversation as we usually do in this series of videos I'm making.
Hi, I'm Jamie. Welcome to my home here in Canterbury.
It's so homey and so comfortable here. I really remarked on that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I built this house.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah. Are you like a carpenter or general contractor?
I'm a general contractor.
Okay, so you have the skills. You have all the skills.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, yeah, it was a lot of fun building this house.
Mm-hmm.
And
are you a trans person? Are you non-binary? What's your identity?
I'm a transgender woman.
Okay. Yeah. And how long have you, been out, or have you transitioned?
I started my transition about a year ago.
Oh, wow. That's really new.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed that, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's been a big change, but very positive change.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you seem very happy. You have a very nice smile on your face and talking about it. By the way, your hat, did you make that hat, or did someone in your family make that hat? It looks like a handmade
No,
one.
I bought this at a tie-dye shop in Meredith.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody else made it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they did. It was local, though.
Okay. Yeah. I noticed that in Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, there's a lot of like little cottage industries that are very popular up here. Like there's kind of like little stores that'll sell, handmade stuff and local cheese and that sort of thing. So that's really interesting that you're a general contractor. Do you still do that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And I noticed you had a really nice van too.
Yes. Yes. Well, that's because I have to do a little bit of everything. So.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Is there any part of that is that you first got into and then you expanded your skills? Like, did you start as a carpenter or electrician or?
I actually started as a heavy equipment operator.
Oh.
And
we need you in Alaska.
Really, a friend of mine owned this company, and he wanted to retire, so he asked me if I wanted to take it over. Oh, okay. So I did.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you took over somebody's business.
Yep.
Okay. So what was the process of, becoming a general contractor, though? Because you kind of got to know everything. You got to know, like, 5 different fields.
Yeah. I worked for him as I quit my job as an equipment operator and worked for him as a project manager for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Just to kind of see how everything went and how the company was run and that.
So you directed all the people who were doing the work.
Exactly.
Basically. Okay.
Yep. It was all subcontractors, and I just made sure they had everything they needed and took care of all the problems and things like that. So
you ordered supplies and made appointments, that sort of thing. Okay.
Yeah. I scheduled all the subcontractors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I did that a little bit once for a church, and I really liked it, actually. I felt I really liked making a schedule for the week of when vendors would come in or people would rent rooms or whatever. It was kind of fun. Yeah, juggling that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's it like transitioning in a field like that? Transitioning socially?
Really, I changed my name last year, and I put on some makeup and put some pink shoelaces in my boots and went to work and said, "I'm Jamie now."
Okay.
And basically,
are you kind of the boss, or?
Oh yeah, I own the company.
Okay, so you're the boss, so people had to just deal with it.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
You really did put some pink laces in?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it was just...
Like steel-toed boots and stuff.
Yeah.
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 That's so punk rock.
I have fur-lined ones now, but yeah.
That's so punk rock. Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, I just said, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah, yeah. Did people kind of know about that beforehand, or was it was kind of a big announcement?
It was probably a bit of a shock to most people.
Okay.
But I'm in a gay relationship, have been for 30 years.
Okay.
So it wasn't a big shock for people, but still, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, so you come out of the queer, gay community, LGBT community. Some trans women come out of more like the straight community, which is a bit different. Do you still feel close to that community, to the gay community or LGBT community?
Not as much as I did.
Okay.
And I actually never really felt like I belonged in that group.
Interesting. Okay.
So I was kind of lost. I didn't really feel like I fit in with straight people, and I didn't fit with the gay crowd either.
Yeah. Yeah. Had you hung out with any other trans people before you decided to transition?
No. I started my transition and at that point had never even met another trans person. I mean,
really?
On a one-to-one basis. I'm sure you see them all the time. But,
wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Is it just that there aren't a lot of trans people in this area, or?
That, and I guess I wasn't really looking.
Yeah.
So just, I don't know. I don't really have a lot of friends and meet a lot of people as it goes. So,
Sure. You're more one-on-one type person.
Yeah.
Yeah, not going out to a lot of crowded events or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm imagining you wouldn't go to like Pride or, big community events or something like that. You just pretty much stayed at home and
for the most part
worked. You probably worked a tremendous amount. I would
being
imagine.
Self-employed, I work a lot.
Yes.
It's kind of like my hobby and employment.
Yes.
So it takes up most of my time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I've known people who've owned bakeries, and I know this one woman who owned a bakery, and she didn't pay herself for 10 years, and she worked all the time. She basically just paid her bills and paid her employees, and that was pretty much it. It was a passion project, basically. Yeah, when she retired, some yuppies bought it, and they were like, they had watched too many cooking shows kind of thing, and they were like, oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be easy. Yeah, right. Ends up being a lot of work.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. It was funny working for them because you could see like the realization, after a while that, oh, this isn't like TV or something. Yeah. So what's it like? I mean, you live pretty rurally. I mean, there are some towns that are fairly nearby. It's not, like Alaska where you have to drive hours to go to a town or something, but this is rural. This is rural New Hampshire. What's that like being a trans woman out here?
Is
it different than being a gay man out here?
I'm a lot more comfortable with it.
Okay. Okay.
I just totally accept myself for who I am as trans.
Okay.
And I think I was always a little self-conscious about being gay.
So would you do you describe yourself as being like a straight woman now?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Maybe straight or bisexual. But
Yeah. Yeah. I don't mean to impose
Yeah.
anything on you.
No.
But sometimes people take on different labels when they transition, different labels for their sexuality. Yeah. What else should we talk about? Do you have any? So when you were cross-dressing, were you fairly public about that? Like you would, cross-dress at home, cross-dress when you went out, that sort of thing?
It was only at home.
Only at home.
Yeah.
Okay. So a private thing. Yeah. And when was cross-dressing kind of not enough?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you're middle-aged, I would say.
Yeah.
We're peers,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so you're coming out and changing your life later on in life. What was the impetus, I guess, what pushed you past being, a gay man who cross-dressed occasionally to changing your identity?
Basically, I hit a wall.
Okay. Yeah.
It just reached the point where if I just couldn't go out of this house one more time as a man, just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was it.
Okay. So just one day you were like, well, I'm just going to dress and go out and do my shopping and...
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So what was that day like? Like, what did you actually do?
Oh, well, I went to work.
Okay. That was the day you wore the pink.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it wasn't actually one day. It kind of, evolved over a period of time.
Okay. Well, talk about that. How did it evolve?
A slow, just wearing makeup and wearing more feminine clothes at work instead of wearing clothes with the company name and, that. I just went and bought some, women's shirts and like this one. It's just a long sleeve t-shirt.
I would think that would be a little bit difficult because you're doing, even though you're the boss, it's job sites, right? So how do you mix that with the safety equipment and whatnot that you have to work with?
Yeah, you just do, I guess.
Okay.
It's a small company, so it's pretty flexible.
Sure.
But like the pink laces and the work boots, I guess was a good way. And then, like I said, I changed my name, and I originally just started telling people I changed my name, and that lasted less than a week. And
how were people with that?
Nobody said a word.
Okay.
And after about a week of that, I just was just like, anytime I tell somebody I changed my name, I said, and I also identify as female now.
Okay.
And that's basically when I really just came out.
That's really bold.
That was,
yeah.
That took about 2 months to get from, I can't leave the house as a man anymore to, hey, my name's Jamie now and I identify as female.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing how, like, I've talked to a bunch of trans women in this project, and there seems to be like this buildup that happens, and then suddenly, the dam breaks, and then everything happens really quickly, or you want it to happen really quickly, Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know how it was going to play out at first. I remember telling, close friends, well, it's going to be like going in the ocean in New Hampshire in the summertime. You stick your toe in and you're like, oh my gosh, this is really cold, and then you wade in and you're in your knees, and before you know it, at the end of the day, you're out there neck deep, and it doesn't have any effect on you. And I thought it would be more like that.
Sure.
But I
think
you
get used to it, and
I just got knee deep and dove in.
Okay. So full shock, take your breath away.
Yeah. And I'm very grateful that nobody really cared. I never really had any negative reactions to my transition. Other than maybe just a stare or a dirty look. And
like if you go into town or something,
right? Maybe at the grocery store, or just you get to the end of the aisle and somebody going the other way, and just sometimes maybe just give me that look.
Sure.
Not more than the acquisitive look, more of a, I don't know, disapproving look.
Disapproving,
But that's all I've gotten.
I call that the stink eye, like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my husband tells me I should just stick my tongue out at him.
Yeah. Right. have some levity in there. Yeah.
But I'm very grateful that I didn't have any negative reactions when I first came out, because I don't know how I would have reacted to that, and I'm afraid I would have put me back in. Made it a lot harder for me to come out. Yeah. Right. But it never happened. I was afraid it would happen, basically thought it would happen.
But you did it anyway.
Yeah. But it never did, and I'm glad that it didn't.
Yeah. And then you have a loving partner and a family around you that supports you. Do you want to talk about that at all? Your family that you live with? Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
My mom is probably my closest confidant in all of this.
Yeah, she's sweet.
Yeah. She's a snowbird, so she goes south in the winter, but she spends the summers up here with us.
Oh, really? Where does she go?
To Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
She has a house there.
Oh, okay. Does she have like relatives out there or something?
My brother lives down there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he gets her in the winter and I get her in the summer.
Okay.
But we're really great friends, and I talk about everything with her.
Yeah, your mom is great. She greeted me at the door, and I was like, oh. I was a little worried I got the wrong place because I didn't see the number.
Oh.
And then she came to the door, and I was like, oh, maybe this isn't the right place. But then, you were there, and so I was okay. But yeah, she was very friendly. Yeah, and I love your house here. This is so sweet.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, this is like a dream.
We love the location. We used to live down the road, and we'd always drive by here going into town and marvel at how beautiful this lot was.
Why in particular this lot? It's very open, by the way. It's forested all around it.
It's just when you're out at the road and you look, and it just goes so far back to the trees.
It does.
It was very picturesque.
Yeah, it looks like, you should be bounding around on a horse or something, because there's like these little hills and stuff. Yeah.
And one day we drove by and there was a for sale sign on it.
Wow.
And we were just like, wow, that lot's for sale.
Yeah.
So everything worked out, and we were able to acquire it. And a few years later, we built the house here.
Oh, great. So how long did that take to build the house and all that?
Less than a year.
Okay.
I think we started it in the 1st of May and moved in at Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, it's a smaller house. It's not like a McMansion type of a house, but wow, it's so cute. I love how it's really open to, and that I bet that's very helpful for like an older person as well. Not a lot of stuff in the way.
Yeah. And I designed it to not be very high out of the ground. It's only one step up to get in the house.
Yeah, that's very smart. I used to work for a disabled person, and I used to think about that a little bit, like when I'm older, because I already have some problems that started when I was actually a teenager, but with arthritis, like what is the house that I imagine I'm going to be in when I'm less physically capable? It's a good thing to think about. Like when you're in a shower, he had these bars that would help him, be stable. And I thought, this is really helpful for me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Being a builder, I've seen a trend where having a bedroom and a bathroom on the first floor.
Yes. Yeah.
Which wasn't really the norm around here for a long time.
Yeah, I bet.
Unless it was a single level house, but
yeah. Is it the kind of place where there's steps going up to a big porch or something and multiple levels? And...
Yeah, or just all the bedrooms are on the second floor.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Or the bathroom on the first floor doesn't have a shower or that kind of thing.
So it's so nice that this is new and cozy. It's great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Been in some places where it's like, oh, it's so chilly and damp and yeah, sweet. Yeah, and the light coming in with this. I mean, it's very heavily forested here, but since you have such a nice big lot, you have a lot of light. That's
yeah.
great. Yeah. Do you have any hobbies? Like, are you into art or any sorts of crafts or anything like that?
I like to work on cars.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm very tempted to get some help from you, but I'm not going to. It's like when people are doctors and you're like, oh, really?
Yeah.
I have an elbow that hurts.
Yeah. One of the things I did years ago was my second job was working on cars at home. So I have a whole shop full of tools and everything.
Okay. So you were like the corner mechanic or whatever.
Yeah. That guy that somebody knows at work that
exactly
will take care of whatever the dealership said was going to cost $400.
Right.
Do it for, I don't know, much less.
Yeah. Yeah, I love people like you.
Yeah. I don't really do that anymore.
Yes.
But, I still have the whole shop full of tools, which is great for my hobby of working on cars.
Yeah. Do you work on like like classic car kind of thing?
Mostly.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. I have an old car.
Okay. Yeah. Sometimes with that you have to even manufacture your own parts, like mill out your own parts or something like that. Do you ever do something like that?
I've never gone that far.
No. Okay. You've been able to find some stuff at online or at junkyards or something.
Yeah, junkyards in New Hampshire, the selection of old cars is pretty gone.
Yes. Yeah, but places like California or more deserty places, because they don't put salt on the roads and there's a lot less precipitation.
Yeah. I lived in California for 5 years, and I remember going to the junkyard for the first time and was just shocked.
Oh, yes.
At all of the cars that were there. They weren't rusted. It was
no. Yeah, I know. So what kind of cars are you working on then, or have you worked on?
Well, right now I have a VW bus.
Okay. Yeah, that's going to take a lot of work.
Well, I'm almost done.
Okay.
So it took a lot of work.
Yes, they do take a lot of work.
Yeah, it was very rusted.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also it's just kind of a stereotype about those buses. I mean, they were easy for people to work on because of how they were made. But then they also just need a lot of work over the lifespan or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they are pretty sweet. Cool.
Yeah.
Do you have like a little, do you have a barn or something like that where you keep it in? Or okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a barn, but it's really a auto garage.
Yeah, just a shed.
Yeah.
Great. A she shed.
Yes. Yep. A big she shed.
Yeah, a really big one. That's great. I actually, after all my travels, I was thinking of maybe even, because my car has so many dings on it. I mean, from driving in Alaska on some of the worst roads in North America, it's just like ding, ding, ding all over it. It looks like it's been sandblasted in some places. Yeah, so, I mean, if I were to take one of those pens and try and fix the little, I mean, it would just be like, like everywhere. So I might just... sand it down and paint the whole thing. I'm not sure. But yeah. I was thinking more earth tone or something like that. Who knows? Yeah. Yeah. I actually got a red one so I could see it in the sea of gray cars.
I know.
That are always in the urban places. It's always a sea of gray cars.
It is. We comment on that all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. What color is your VW?
It's blue, like a bright blue.
Yeah, yeah. Is it one of those two-tone ones where it's white and
yeah, it's blue and white.
Those are cute. Those are cute. I also like the two-tone trucks. Remember those?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love those.
Yeah.
Or the step side ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love those. So after this, do you have any other plans to work on any more classic cars?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Do you ever take projects from other people or?
have friends that come by and we'll work on their cars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't really, like have them drop it off and pick it up when
Okay.
it's done.
Sure.
I used to do that, but it's no fun anymore.
Yeah.
But if they want to come down and hang out,
Then it becomes like work.
it was.
Yes.
Yeah, I used to tell my friends that, if you're going to drop your car off and just have me give you a call when you pick it up, then I'm going to charge you for it. If you want to
Yes.
come down and hang out,
That's right.
drink
some beer,
whatever. And,
whatever.
listen to some tunes while
That's
we
right.
work on your car, not an issue.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just going to dump it here, I'm going to charge you for it. So.
I hear you. I hear you on that. Totally. I'm not mechanical in any way. I usually like break stuff or I get really frustrated. I'm one of those people. But I'm a sculptor. I love using clay. I love, making useful pottery, but then also art pottery, which is not necessarily functional, but it has some of the form of something that might be functional. And then also figurative pieces and that sort of thing. And I've sold a few, which is nice.
Nice.
It's nice when it leaves, because then I don't have to store it. That's always, it's a burden to store things.
Do you feel any sense of loss when you get rid of a piece of art?
No, actually, I don't, because I'm just glad it's going to be either used or appreciated or.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, in the case of bigger work, like I've actually made life-size pieces before. Reclining pieces, and because standing pieces are different, you have to make all kinds of scaffolding for it, but if it's a reclining piece that can lay down, I'm just glad it goes, because it goes into somebody's garden where it'll grow moss on it or whatever's going to happen, be a little home for mice or something. I'm okay with that. Yeah, better than having it in a locker or whatever, storage unit. So I have a feeling you've been doing this sort of thing, working with your hands and whatnot for a very long time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, since maybe you were a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you start out with?
Bicycles and go-karts.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's so sweet.
Bicycles transformed into go-karts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a twin brother.
Is that like for go-kart races?
No, just for terrorizing the neighborhood kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a twin brother, and we used to compete with each other on building stuff.
Oh yeah.
I remember one of the worst fights we ever got in was over a rototiller that the neighbor was going to give us.
What is a rototiller? What is that?
It has like tines, and it tears up the ground for
Okay.
gardening.
Oh, it's something that you would push and it kind of tears
Yeah.
it. Okay, I see.
But it had the highly desirable horizontal shaft motor, whereas most lawn equipment had the vertical shaft, which is very difficult to adapt to making something go.
Oh, I see. So you would cannibalize equipment or whatever. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I can see that. That's cool. My brother and I, we would go around town where we grew up in Alaska, and there were some buildings that were being made, and we would always go in and scavenge like some building equipment. Yeah, scavenge, also known as theft. But what else were we going to do? I mean, it's a tiny town above the Arctic Circle. Anyway, so we'd scavenge this stuff. And then we'd go and we'd make like little forts or something, Yeah. It was pretty fun. And then we'd just tear them down and we'd make another one or whatever. We played a lot of stickball. There was Norwegian, I think people call it Norwegian rules stickball. Anyway, somebody would throw the ball, we'd hit it, and then whoever caught that ball would then try to hit you with the ball and hurt you. There's always some kind of pain in there in those childhood games,
I never liked those games.
I did.
In fact, I never
them.
liked any sport with a flying object.
Oh, really? I loved them. So you would avoid that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I think I still have trauma from Greek dodgeball.
Oh, yes. I was bad at dodgeball, too. Mostly, just because I'm not very quick. So I was easy pickings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, always. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very, I don't know how to say it, sadistic?
Yes,
game?
I was thinking
I was
sadistic.
just like, what were these teachers thinking?
I don't know. Or like those ones, they probably don't play these anymore, but you'd make a couple lines and then you'd pick somebody and then they would have to try and ram through your line as you held on. I don't know. I think it was called Red Rover or something. Red Rover, come over. Anyway, yeah, these are such weird games. Are you a 70s kid? Did you grow up in the 70s or 80s? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're the same. We're pretty much the same. We just had these violent games when we were kids.
Yeah.
I actually really liked them.
Yeah.
But if you're more of a person who is
quiet and shy,
then you're not going to like them.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially, if you're seen as a boy and you're not doing it, then it's like, For me, I was a girl and I was really small. So the boys didn't like it that I was playing with them, so they'd get me really hard.
Oh.
Because they did not want to be bested. So if I ever got the ball, all of them would pile on me. And I get the breath knocked out of me.
Oh, goodness.
It was like punishment, like boom, boom, boom. Yeah, totally.
Huh.
Yeah. So it was really noticeable that you weren't participating, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you do instead?
I would read.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like at recess or whatever?
Oh yeah. At
really?
recess, I would sit and read.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I read the entire Nancy Drew series.
Oh yeah,
Sixth
I love
grade.
Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys too,
Yeah.
but especially Nancy Drew.
Yeah.
She was pretty cool.
I never read the Hardy Boys much. I didn't get into it, but Nancy
Yeah.
Drew and the girls,
Yeah.
I read all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other? Yeah. Well, what in particular did you like about her? I guess.
I don't know, because she just had it all together. Nobody intimidated her.
Sure. Did you ever watch the series? I think it was aimed at teenagers, but I think it also had some adult themes. Veronica Mars. You ever watch that TV show?
No.
It was a series. It didn't go on for very long. It had that actress Kristen Bell in it. She does a lot of voice work for cartoons and that sort of thing. She's very funny, very vivacious. I think of her as sort of the more grown-up or modern version of Nancy Drew, Like she kind of had it together too, and she wasn't going to take any guff either, So, like, she was smarter than people gave her credit for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. So were there any other series that you devoured?
Not that I can name. I just read lots of books.
Yeah, me
I was
too.
really into science fiction.
Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't really get into science fiction as a kid, but I did when I was older. I actually read a lot of, magazines, like World Magazine, which was the National Geographic version for kids. I really liked that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kind of adult themed though, because, when you're reading about Save the Whales or something like that when you're a little kid, it can be a little traumatizing,
Yeah.
all these environmental,
Yeah.
subjects or whatever.